Hello and welcome to part number 4 of the Army Focus series. In this video I will go over 3 lists. I will go over the TheFiefdoms, I will go over the Dead of Dunharrow, and I will go over Arnor. But before we get going, make sure as always to leave a comment, like the video, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button as to not miss out on any further comment. Now let's get cracking. At the height of Gondor's power, her rule stretched far across many realms of Middle-earth, from beyond Isengard to the west and the depths of Harad in the south. People knelt to the rule of Gondor and received the prosperity that came with her protection. Although the royal bloodline no longer sits upon the throne of Gondor's influence has been significantly reduced by war, there are promises that still swear fealty to it. These fiefdoms will answer Gondor's call for aid should it ever be needed. Greatest among the fiefdoms is the land of Dol Amroth, ruled over by Prince Imrahil. Although the prince holds no rule over the other realms, such is the respect for him that many of the fiefdoms' lords would come to him seeking his counsel and advice. When the War of the Ring comes to Gondor, Imrahil leads his Swan-Helm Knights into battle upon the fields of Pelennor. In fact, it is Imrahil and his Swan Knights that ride out with Gandalf in order to rescue Faramir from the Nazgul, as well as lead Gondor's counterattack against the forces of Mordor. It's a lot of information that we don't get if you only watch the movies, so quite interesting there. So, the armor composition is as follows. It may include Prince Imrahil of Dol Amroth, Forlong the Fat, which is an interesting character, Angbor the Fearless, Dunharrow, Captain of Dol Amroth, Knight of Dol Amroth, Men-at-Arms of Dol Amroth, Axemen of Lossarnach, Clansmen of Lamedon, and Blackroot Vale Archers. And the army bonus is as follows. For the White City, special rules marked with an asterisk affects all mods on this army list, not just the ones listed. And that is for sure a very great thing, as we will see here. And first up of the heroes here is indeed Prince Imrahil and his 140 points base. His fight 6, his defense 7, he has 3 attacks, 3 wounds, and 3 for his heroic stats. So quite a good model, although yeah, 140 points isn't all that cheap, but I do think he is worth every point there really. And he can take an armored horse and a lance, and you probably should do so. And he has a couple of special rules, the lineage of Numnor. And that means that the range of his standfast is 12 rather than 6 inch, which obviously is not a bad thing. And then he has an asterisked one, it's called Dol Amroth for Gondor. Captains of Dol Amroth, Knights of Dol Amroth, and Men-at-Arms of Dol Amroth within 12 inch of Imrahil of Dol Amroth counts as being a range of a banner. And that also means that it affects all models, unless you break the alliance matrix if you go like yellow or red, but otherwise it affects everyone. Next up we do have Forlong the Fat, which is a strength 5 model, so it's pretty cool. He's 80 points, 2 attacks, 3 wounds, 5, and a 3/1/1 for his heroics. He can take a horse for 10 points, but it will have to be a sturdy horse to bear this stout man. He has the special rule marked with an asterisk, Lord of Lossarnach, which means Axemen of Lossarnach within 6 inch of him must reroll results of a 1 when rolling to wound during the fight phase. And yeah, that also affects everyone unless you break the alliance matrix there. Then we have the Angbor the Fearless, 65 points. He's 2 attacks, 2 wounds, 2/3/1 for his heroics. He has a broadsword, a 2-handed sword. Additionally, if a model that's fighting with the broadsword scores a natural 6 in the duel roll, they do not apply the penalty for using 2-handed weapons. And when you have 2 attacks, it's a decent chance to do so. And he can do heroic strikes as well. He is fearless, and he has the asterisk special rule called Chief of Lamedon, Clansman of Lamedon. Within 6 of him, gain the fearless special rule, but it also affects everyone unless you break the alliance. Then we have Dunharrow. He is a hero of valor for 4 fight, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, 2/1/1. So he has to peg down the other folk here. He's a mountain dweller. He has the special rules Go for the Eyes. When shooting, he can reroll failed wound rolls. Additionally, when shooting a monster, he causes D3 wounds rather than 1 wound, which is obviously quite good, but very situational. And he has the asterisked rule, Lord of the Blackroot Vale. It means that archers within him that didn't move during the move phase may reroll to hit during the shoot phase. But it's also asterisk, so very good. Then we have Captain of Dol Amroth, 65 points, 0 fortitude, as a captain should be. 7 defense, quite tanky there. 2 2 attacks, 2 wounds, 2/1/1. And he has the non-asterisk special rule, Pride of Dunharrow, which means that the model with this special rule that is within 3 inches of Prince Imrahil adds +1 to their fight, so you'll have fight 6 if he is close to the prince. And then we have Knights of Dunharrow for 11 points, and that does not include the horse, but they can upgrade to an armored horse for only 8 points. Yeah, and nothing special, only strength 3 models, and they also have that Pride of Dunharrow, the special rule. And then we have the Men-at-Arms of Dunharrow for 9 points. They can replace their pikes with a banner for 25 points. Nothing special there really. They also have the Pride of Dunharrow for 5 defense, heavy armor and sword or pike. Then we have the Axemen of Losarnach. They're pretty cool. The axes can be used as a spear or two-handed weapons. Two-handed axes, sorry. Then we have the Kilted Warriors. They are the Clansmen of Lamedon. Awesome looking models here, I think. They also have that broadsword, and they have the spiritual honor of Lamedon. If they are within 6 inches of Anbor the Fearless, they come to speed range for banner. They have those Blackroot Vale Archers for 8 points on a 3+ with a bow. Not too shabby. When benefiting from heroic shoot, they may reroll failed wound rolls, making shoot attacks. So that is it for the fiefdoms. Alright, let's move over to the Dead of Dunharrow. In a time prior to the battles of the Last Alliance in the Second Age, there was a small kingdom that existed within the boundaries of the White Mountains, between Dunharrow in the south and Calenardon, now known as the Kingdom of Rohan, in the north. Little is known about those that dwelt within this kingdom, save for the fate that befell them. Towards the end of the Second Age, the Kingdom of Numenor sought allies in the war against the Dark Lord Sauron and the armies of Mordor. Isildur, son of the High King Elendil, came to the people of the White Mountains, as he had to many others, in search of their allegiance. There Isildur obtained an oath-sworn promise of aid in the coming wars against the forces of evil. However, when called upon to take up arms in the fight against Sauron, the people of the White Mountains fled, opting instead to entomb themselves within their mountain fortress instead of fulfilling the oath they had sworn to the King of Gondor. Upon this betrayal, Isildur cursed them to wander the hills until the time came that they fulfilled their pledge. Wow! This army may include the King of the Dead, Warriors of the Dead, and Riders of the Dead, so quite a small list obviously. Additionally, a Dead of Dunharrow army list is automatically impossible allies with any force that doesn't also include Aragorn. The armor bonus is as follows. The dead do not suffer the living to pass. The King of the Dead gains the Harbinger of Evil special rule. Additionally, warbands from this army list that contains 8 or more models do not need a hero to be the captain of the warband. Instead, one of the warrior models within this warband takes on the role of the warband's captain for the purpose of deployment. Alright, so let's start with the King of the Dead. He's a hero of valor, although I don't really know what valor exists in him, before taking up the oath again, I guess. So, he has a fight value of 5, strength 4, defense 8, so that's quite impressive. Only 2 attacks, only 2 wounds, but 7 courage, 1 might, 6 will, 3 fate. He has a plethora of special rules here. He has the Blade of the Dead special rule, he causes terror. He has the Drain Soul ability, that means that any model that suffers a wound from the King of the Dead is automatically slain, regardless of how many wounds it has remaining. That is quite something. Hero models may prevent these wounds with fate, but even a single wound that isn't prevented means that they are slain. And anyway, the Dead of the Living is another special rule. It means that only warriors and riders of the dead may use the King of the Dead Standfast or benefit from his heroic actions. And he has the Spectral Walk passive rule as well. A model with this special rule may move over water features as if they were open ground. Then we have the Warriors of the Dead of Dunharrow. They are 14 points each, so one of the more expensive infantry you can have. They are fight 3, strength 3, so that's not really impressive. They are 7 defense though, and they have 6 courage. They can take a banner, they can take a shield to buff that defense to 8, and they can also take spears. And they also have the Terror special rule, which is obviously a big part of their expensiveness here. And also that Blades of the Dead. And then they also have that Spectral Walk ability, obviously. Then we have the Riders of the Dead, which is pretty much the same. They are defense 8 base because they have the shield included. They also have the Spectral Steed. Otherwise they are very much the same. They have 6 courage as well. So that's all there is for the Dead of Dunharrow. So let's move over to Arnor. Upon his arrival in Eriador at the end of the Second Age, Elendil founded the kingdoms of Gondor and Arnor. Whilst Arnor is now just a distant memory, her cities and strongholds reduced to rubble, there was a time when Arnor's might was equally measured to that of Gondor before the kingdom was plunged into war and despair. In the days of her glory, Arnor achieved the same nobility that still exists in Gondor. Heroic kings who descended from the line of Numenor ruled over the lands and the towers. The towns and villages prospered under their protection. The evil that dwelt in the north was held at bay by Arnor's vast standing armies that defended her lands and her people. It was even said that when united as one under the banner of the king, the armies of Arnor could not be defeated, not even by the combined force of orcs, trolls and evil men. However, fate was tempted and destiny decided to prove otherwise. The army composition is as follows. You can include Arvedui, last king of Arnor. Might have gotten the pronunciation of that wrong, but anyway. Malbeth the Seer, Captains of Arnor, Warriors of Arnor, Rangers of Arnor, and Hobbit Archers. The profile for Hobbit Archers has already been explained in the second installment of the series. You can find them on page 22 in the Armies of the Lord of the Rings book. Then we have the army bonus. Protect the king. Friendly Arnor models automatically pass courage test while within 6 of Arvedui, last king of Arnor. So, first up we have then Arvedui. He's 80 points and he's a hero of valor. And he is fight 5, defense 6 with that armor and sword. 3 attacks, 2 wounds, 3, 2, 1. And he can do strike, strength and defense. And he has a special hatred for Angmar, and his standfast is 12 rather than 6 with the King of the North special rule. Then we have Malbeth the Seer, which is a hero of fortitude. He is armed with a staff. He has fight 3, strength 3, 1 attack, 2 wounds, 1, 2, 1. Gift of Foresight. Every time a friendly Arnor model within 6 of him suffers a wound, you roll d6 and 5 plus the wound has been prevented, exactly as if a point of fate has been expended. Then we have the Captains of Arnor for 55 points. They fight 5, strength 4, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, 2, 1, 1. And they can swap their shield for bow for free, but then they lose that 7 defense and will only be 6 defense obviously. Then we have Warriors for 8 points. There is nothing special. They are fight 4, strength 3, 2 courage. That's not really all that great. And they can also swap a spear and a shield for a banner. And all the models here have the hatred for Angmar, except for Malbeth, I guess. And then bring up the rear, we have the Rangers of Arnor for 8 points. They are fight 4, strength 3, courage 3. So for some reason they have better courage than the infantry. And they can take a spear for 1 point. So that's it for Arnor. Next time we will have a big one for you. We'll go over the Rohan list. So that's quite a fat video just in and of itself. But hope that you enjoyed today's video with these 3 armies here compiled into one video. So getting through this rather quickly. So we have Rohan left, we have Wildmen of Duradan, Rivendell, Lothlorien, Fangorn, and the Misty Mountains, and the Kingdoms of Khazad-dûm, and the Wanderers in the Wild. And then we are on to the evil forces of the Armies of Lord of the Rings book. So if you've enjoyed this video and the series as a whole, please make sure to subscribe to the page here, leave a comment, and if you're already watching the video, make sure to like it as well. All of that stuff helps me out massively. So without further ado, take care.